Good evening, America. Welcome back to another episode of Break the Machine podcast. It is Cinco de Mayo. We got some guests coming to hang with us tonight. Some friends of the show. Danny Cruz is going to check in with us. We got the Patriot Mother Vision. Noemi's going to check in with us. And we got a new friend of the show that's supposed to check in with us. And so right now it's just myself and Red Day. We're just waiting for people to show up, and they will as they do, and we'll get into some patriot stuff and laugh at the liberals and everything like that, because laughing at the left is always a good thing, because remember, we're not allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo today because they think that everybody who's getting deported is Mexican. I don't fucking know, but people are stupid and absolutely insane, and it's pretty funny actually to watch. So you know hey, Rogue Nina, how are you today? I'm just waiting for Red Day to jump in. He's got some stuff going on. Oh yeah, so go ahead. Yeah, turn it up, bro. I'm gonna bring you on. Here we go. All right, fam. Red Day's here. We're just waiting for his picture to come in. Oh man,
And you
what the hell
see,
is it you got in the background there?
dude, that's my Mexican mural.
He's got a
I
mural in the
told you, I've
background.
got fucking. And this is my Mexican blanket right here. I got over my
It's
thing.
got a
This
tiger
thing is
on it.
freaking. I don't even know. It's freaking heavy as hell. This is like real. This is the real deal. This will keep you warm for like fucking months.
Well, I got
And I'm ready.
my big gulp margarita right here.
I got my Modelo, and cheers, brother.
Yeah, cheers, man. Absolutely, brother. Yeah, I got my big gulp of margarita right here.
Can you see everything in front of me? I'm all
Holy
set up
shit.
here.
You got the spread, bro. You got chips and
I am
salsa.
set up. Got my lime here from a beer. Got some limon.
Yeah, fucking Red Day was not fucking around, okay, today for Cinco de Mayo, because everybody's telling us that we're not allowed to freaking celebrate
Hey,
it
Jillian.
for hey
Yeah.
Jillian, it's good to see you. Um she put in a taco avocado and a Mexican flag. But it's just hilarious, man. Seeing how these liberals just were apoplectic last week, talking about you can't celebrate, you can't Cinco de Porto. That's what it was. But think about how racist they are, these liberals, right? Because they
hmm
think everybody who's getting deported is Mexican for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
What the vast majority of people are Venezuelan and Central American and whatnot. That actually
Yeah.
the mass deportation of Mexicans isn't even a thing anymore.
I was not.
It's just, it,
Actually, I have my wife to thank for that,
yeah,
or at least educated me on that, because I was one of those that used to think
yeah,
it was all Mexicans. And she goes, "You
yeah,
realize
yeah.
that's right, Nina. I am ready AF." Um, I didn't know. She was the one that educated me on that. She was like, most of those people coming across the border, they're not even Mexican. I
Yeah,
was like,
it's
really?
true. Yeah, that has stopped for a very long time now. Actually, the
hmm
mass deportation of Mexicans is not a thing anymore. They just label everybody a Mexican, right? It's just because that's how
hmm
the liberals do. It's like, oh, you can't celebrate Cinco de Mayo because you're deporting Mexicans. Yeah, that's not really a
Exactly.
thing.
So stupid.
Yeah, they're fucking morons.
And they're hurting.
Um,
And they're, like I said before the thing we started, and they're hurting Mexican families by saying, "Don't go eat it." This
yeah,
is like their Super Bowl weekend.
yeah. I know
This
it is. It's like
They're going to do crazy business today on a Tuesday, on a Monday.
yeah, everything from the mom and pop freaking little restaurants, to bigger restaurants and whatnot, and just
hmm
everything. So that this is a big day for them. For Americans, spend a lot of their money on this day, between the
hmm
alcohol and the food and whatnot. So it's just bullshit, right? Like, because
Yeah,
that's how they do. They don't really give a shit about them. They just want to
no,
be, virtual signal and whatnot.
exactly.
That's all it comes down to, really.
Mm. We're gonna try some of the salsa too. That's what's in this back one over here. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's fucking
Mm.
Red Day is not fucking around. He just set up his spread for himself. He's got, his Modelo. He's got his chips and
hmm
salsa and whatnot. He is not fucking around, man.
I got some cheese. I got some cheesy nachos right up front here. Mm.
Nice. That's awesome. That's good shit. Did you speaking of deportations, did you see this today? I was like I was
What's up?
laughing, but it's like it's something that I was like, okay. you know, I could see us doing that. It would probably be cheaper to do. It was just pretty funny to see. This is stupid freaking ad block things. I got to find an ad blocker. Jonathan, you got to recommend one for me. Um, because it's insane the amount of freaking ads that come up and stuff
Oh,
like
it's
that.
crazy.
So here, yeah, it's nuts. So it says Trump administration set to pay illegal immigrants $1,000 to self-deport, and
Mhm,
DHS says it will save taxpayers a ton.
mhm.
Goes on to say the Trump administration, I believe that too, by the way, has started paying I'm going to say illegal immigrants to 1,000 each to self-deport from the U.S. and the Department of Homeland Security said it will save taxpayers up to 1 million per family. Immigrants can
Mhm.
avoid arrests by federal immigration agents if they choose to use the Trump administration's CBP home app. That's the app that the Biden administration was using. What do you call it?
Yep.
To bring them
They
in.
mod. Yeah,
Yeah,
they modified it.
they modified it early on in the year for them to go ahead and what do you call it? It says despite shelling out the cash, what do you call it? DHS project projects that taxpayers will save 70% over the cost of rounding up and deporting each illegal immigrant. Hang on, we got Danny Cruz is with us. Let's bring him
I
in.
see Blondie. Hey, Blondie.
Danny Cruz, what's up, brother?
What's up, bro? What's up, guys? Good to
What's
see you
going
guys
on?
Hey,
again.
Danny.
What's up,
Hey,
Scott?
Blondie. What's going
I'm
on?
set.
Happy
Can you
Cinco
tell?
de
Look
Mayo.
how I'm doing. I'm doing
Yeah,
pretty
look
good
at. Do
today.
you see Scott's spread? Do you see his spread?
I'm all set here, man.
I'm trying to
I
see
got
how
my.
I go full screen, bro. How do I switch this to full screen?
You should have an option on using your laptop or your phone.
Nah, my phone, bro. Maybe I gotta turn it
Uh,
sideways. I don't know.
yeah, just I would
There's
say
an
just you.
option.
Yeah, you should
Are you
just.
on
I
your
would say
phone or
just
your computer?
he he's on his phone. No, no, yeah,
Okay.
just leave it like that. That's
Yeah.
fine. We see you right
Yeah, it's
like that. It's
perfect.
just fine. That was perfect. We got your full face, brother.
All right, I'm trying to
Uh,
get full screen. Oh, here we go. Now I'm on full screen. All right, let me. My bad, guys. Go ahead, continue.
No, it's all right. We were just talking about how the Trump administration is going to start paying these people $1,000 to deport themselves, and that it'll end up being cheaper and whatnot.
It will.
We were laughing at the liberals earlier because I got my freaking my big gulp margarita. Scott's got his spread talking about we're not
Mhm.
allowed to freaking celebrate Cinco de Mayo because of deportations, as if Mexicans are the ones that are being mass deported when it's
Right.
Venezuelans and Central and South Americans.
No.
And the mass deportation of Mexicans is not a thing anymore. It's just like it's just crazy.
No. No. Definitely
Salud.
not.
Oh, salud! What do you
Salute,
got?
brother.
What are you drinking, Danny?
It's from my local brewery, man. It's called Hayes Against the Machine.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice.
That works.
Yeah, it's my local brewery right here in town I go to, and they got good food, good drinks. I like
Right
I
on,
like
man.
chilling there. They just don't let me smoke my cigars there. That's the only thing that sucks.
Yeah.
Is our
Um,
volume too low? Someone said,
my volume is at the max.
I think Funny Girl said that my volume and your volume was low.
Yeah, my volume is at the
I can hear you
max.
guys fine though.
Yeah.
I
Hang
can
on
hear
one
you guys
second.
fine now too.
I could
I don't know
just
about.
Scott a little bit. And then yeah, mine is at the max. Funny girl, nice to see you, hon. Glad you're hanging with us. Um yeah, Jonathan says we're both a bit low. It's got to be coming from the studio, fam. I literally I have everything maxed out on my end. I just put up red days a little bit. And can you guys hear
Okay.
Danny Cruz when he talks? I know he's got like a ruckus going on right now, trying to set
Yeah, they're
his stuff
saying
up.
Danny's good.
Okay. Uh, yeah, yeah, my my volume is up 100%. Hang on, see, make sure I don't have anything. No, everything is up on my sound. Yeah, sorry about that,
Yep.
fam. I'll just have to yell.
You know, the only question I have about that story is they said that they would pay the self deportees upon confirmation that they're gone. It's like how are they going to confirm they're gone?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you know how it is, right? Like they're supposedly doing everything through the app. I would assume that it follows them through like a check-in and all that other stuff, getting through the TSA. Who knows? Maybe I'm putting too much thought into it because the government is not
Well,
efficient with anything they do. So
my thought was what would stop someone from say like
yeah,
they're leaving and maybe them just like mailing the phone.
there's got to be something that yeah, it's true. Mailing, yeah, there's got to be
Well,
something that proves that they're leaving. I agree. How do you track that?
yeah, I would assume that they'd have to cross the border and go to some sort of government building, U.S. government building, saying, "Here's my information. This is me. This is my phone. I'm self-deportating," and they'll be like, "All right, your check's in the mail." Is what I'm assuming. I don't know.
Well, supposedly they're supposed to be using that CBP app that originally the Biden administration was using to help them, come in mass into the nation, right? They flipped it so now you can use that same app to deport yourself, right? They did that earlier on in the year. They changed it up for people, and
Mm,
it's just now they're just here's a grand, just get out and stuff like that. It would actually in the amount of money that
Well,
we pay in benefits and all that other stuff to them, it'd probably end up being cheaper. I'm with you, Rogue Nina. Just freaking round them up and send them.
but here's the problem: if they're leaving through, we know most of them didn't come in through natural mean or appropriate means. If we're expecting them to leave through proper channels, that's going to cost them a lot more than 1,000,
Yeah. Well,
right? To book their own flight or their own transportation.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's gonna call, but I think they're just gonna give him 1,000 on it. So here's 1,000 on your on your deportation. Here you go. Whatever
well,
other money you got. Go ahead, Danny.
and then what's the other option for them? The other option would be get caught by ICE, get
Mhm.
deported, and not be able to sell any of your shit here, not be able to get rid of any of your shit here. You're just
Right.
picked up and gone. You know what I mean? So maybe
You
the
get
thousand
permanently
dollars
banned.
might be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
But I don't know.
No, I agree, man. It's. I'm with Scott though. Like, there's got to be a way of tracking this. How do they actually track this, right? We can't leave shit to the government to do anything. It doesn't do anything correct, right? So like,
Yeah.
how do they? There's got to be a process. And like Scott was saying, it's going to cost more than $1,000 for them to get a ticket to go wherever the hell it is they're going. I think it's just
Mhm.
hey, here's $1,000. Use the CBP app. Prove that I would imagine you have to probably log your flight information in and all that other stuff. I don't know how this.
Yeah.
I don't know how the app
Don't get
works
me
because
wrong.
I've never looked at it.
Don't get me wrong. I'd be willing to pay more. Like if it means like paying $2,000 or $3,000, I think that's still worth it
I think in the end, I mean, think about how much it
in the
actually
long run.
cost us in benefits and everything, right? Like housing them in these
Yeah.
hotels and giving them social security and giving them
Mhm.
fucking disability and all everything else
Yeah.
that we were giving them for the last 4 years. It would
Yeah.
probably be like significantly cheaper to just hand them a couple of grand and say be on your way.
Yeah.
But
These cities are broke. Did you see what New York City did today?
I did not see
No.
what New York City. What did New York
It's,
City do today?
instead of hiring more police or increasing the amount of police presence, they literally are distributing like 200 to 250 panic buttons throughout high crime areas, specifically
Okay.
like bodegas,
Yeah.
so that police can quote respond faster. It's like, why don't you just freaking get rid of the criminals or like up the police?
I
Yeah.
just
That's the big solution.
they can't. New York City will never be able to get out of its own way. Hey, what's up, Conserve Reality? What's going on? Um, yes. I was in that article. This is apparently it's approximately close to $17,500 for hearings, deportation through ICE, and this way it will cost around $5,000, including the $1,000 stipend.
That's crazy.
Ah, that makes sense. That makes
It's
sense.
way cheap. It's way cheaper, right? As
Yeah.
opposed
Yeah,
to having them freaking, the cost of the hearings and all that other stuff. But again,
Yeah.
the billions of dollars that were spent just over the last 4 years. We're not even talking about the decades that we've been actually doing this, but the last 4 years, the billions of dollars that were spent on giving them everything. Okay, just and people, we had fucking homeless veterans and shit like that, uh, sucking wind and everything like that in the streets and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a shame, man.
But
Danny,
I
did you
agree.
ever have an abuela with one of those real Mexican blankets?
Oh yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
asked him.
bro.
They're freaking heavy as
have
hell,
some
right?
here. I have some here in the house, bro.
I asked him if it had a tiger on it.
I don't think so, but these things are like, because my wife has a few of these, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I've never felt a heavier blanket. Like this thing will freaking keep you. This thing will keep like 5 people warm.
Yeah, no shit, definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah. It's a woolly mammoth pelt.
It is. That's what it feels like. I've never felt like a heavier blanket before than a Mexican
Yeah,
blanket.
it's warm as fuck too.
Mhm.
It's a throw that you find on
Not that
everybody's
we really.
couch.
And the funny thing is, we don't really need them here in Florida. It's not like you need like a
Right.
heavy blankets most of the year,
I know.
unless you turn the AC down too low.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The AC. I had to turn on the AC recently because the mugginess is starting to come in.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was just like,
Uh-oh.
okay,
Oh, it is.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
chilling through the mugginess. But
Eric,
I live
you're in North Carolina, Eric?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, my fam is up in North Carolina.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, they get the mugginess too, but South Carolina gets very muggy.
Oh yeah.
And I'm on the coast and stuff like that, so it's gonna get nasty. And I actually hate the mugginess, but it is what it is. I'd rather take the mugginess than the bullshit weather that I had up in the Northeast any day. I'll suck it up and drink water.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So Danny, what's up, bro? You haven't been on the show in a while. What have you been up to, man?
Oh man, just working, bro. Working. That's all I really have time to do. I know I try and check you guys out on Friday afternoons because that's probably like the only day that I'm really actually free and have a little bit of free time to sit down and watch you guys. But even then, I'm in and out. I'm sporadic. But man, just same old thing over here in Southern California, bro. We do what we can, to wake up our community, and we're always on the lookout for good candidates. What's going on at local school boards and what's happening in local cities. Just trying to let people know what's going on out here, bro. It's the same old thing. Obviously, I've kind of slowed down a little bit. What's up, Noemi?
Patriot Mother Vision, fam. All right, what are you drinking? You're on mute right now.
Oops, still on mute.
Yep. Hang on. Let me see if I can. Trying to. There you go.
myself. What were you saying? I'm
Oh,
sorry.
What are
hear
you
you now.
drinking?
Oh,
What are
hey
you
guys.
drinking?
I ate 1,000 tacos, guys. I feel so dead.
Do you see Scott's
Good.
spread? Look at his spread up there. He's got Modelo. He's got chips and
Thank
salsa.
you, goodness. I knew
Oh,
Scott would have something
behind
like
me too. Look at this. Is it up there?
He's
My
got
little
his
maraca.
Mexican. He's got his Mexican mural in the back.
You're hilarious, dude.
He's just fucking.
I
Oh
live
my
in a
God.
Mexican
ridiculous.
household. I've got the props.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, look at you.
I got my
The
big
only thing
gulp
I
of
didn't have was a
margarita
good
right
hat.
here.
Oh, where's my Mexico thing?
Well, I mean, do you
Hey,
have any good Mexican blankets at home?
Yeah, I'm too hot for them though.
He's got
Exactly.
one.
It's
Look,
freaking hot as
he's got
hell.
one on his shoulder.
They're hot as hell.
Heavy as hell.
They're like a heater.
There it is. I'm gonna have to take this off soon.
He's got one on his shoulder, and I asked him if there was
Committed.
a tiger.
I'm
I
just
asked him if
committed.
there was a tiger on it.
Yeah,
I
tiger
don't
one.
think so.
I got a
I'm just
tiger
committed
one.
to the bit.
uh, yeah, I didn't get a chance to go eat Mexican today, but I made sure I had my stuff for my big gulp margarita. So that's what was most important, was the
hell
margarita for the
yeah.
show.
I'm actually not eating.
Yeah,
But
I had margaritas yesterday with family and whatnot, so I get to eat yesterday.
Nice.
oh man, I look insanely big though. Just saying.
You might need your headphones again,
Oh,
Noemi, because you're coming in with an echo.
Yeah, her audio is real choppy, bro. I could barely understand her.
Yeah, it's she
It
has
started
to, what
off
do you call?
okay, and then I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
and then I don't know what happened, but like on my end, my screen is frozen.
I can see you.
I
You're
don't know.
moving just fine. We see you.
Uh,
Yeah,
Don't
we
see you
got you.
moving.
You're moving on
We
our
got you
end.
and your
We see you.
stogie.
all right.
Yeah, we got you. Yeah,
Huh.
nah, you're moving on our end. Uh,
But you know what, bro? Back to our convo. Dude, it's so hard to keep up with politics, bro, because it seems like if you miss a day, you miss so much, bro. There's so much
yeah,
shit going on, so much changes and shit, and um, I try to keep up with it all, but I just can't, bro. I get
yeah,
too busy throughout my day, which is why I'm thankful that I got Scott and all these other influencers, because then I could just go to their page, catch up on the news really quick, and I'm
yeah,
like, boom, okay, I'm all caught up,
yeah, yeah.
I was gonna
I try.
say,
Like
oh
what I
yeah,
try to do, like Scott, he puts a lot of the big shit out there and stuff like that too, but he finds a lot of little things as well. I try to find things that people are just not covering at all. um you know take a little bit off the political side and stuff like that as well sometimes, because there's just, like you said,
yeah.
man, there's just so much shit going on. It's going
Yeah,
like a mile a minute all the time. If you don't pay attention, you'll miss it. You blink and you'll miss everything. It's
yeah,
just what it is. But I mean, that's why we have these
And you
shows
know
too,
what?
to
And
get into stuff
there is a lot of, I hate to say it, but Biden was right. There is
about.
a lot of misinformation going on out there.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I believe
it,
that.
just like in the past week, like, well, you know the videos that I do like every Sunday,
Yeah,
where I put together the list. I literally have a spreadsheet. I'm a huge nerd. I've got this massive
yeah,
spreadsheet, and when I see stories, I'm literally going back saying, "No, didn't this happen already?" And I'm like keyword searching. I'm like, yeah, that happened back in February.
yeah.
And like I've actually been getting into arguments with people. Like I got into an argument with like 5 people last week when they were talking about the whole Pepsi update. Do
Hmm.
you remember what happened with Pepsi last week?
Yeah, with
Bro,
They
I
said
don't.
the
the
artificial
thing.
ingredients and all that other bullshit.
See, but that's the fake part.
Correct.
They never said they're going to get rid of all their artificial ingredients. They said they were going to get rid of their artificial coloring.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
Pepsi is
Because
100% artificial.
yes, everything
So,
about Pepsi is artificial.
but
No, but it's
I had to school a couple people, say, listen, it's not, read the whole article.
yeah, it's the coloring.
Yeah,
It's not, and the titles of these articles too. It's clickbait, right? Like you click on it,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
it's just it's fun. And the minute you start reading, you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not what that that title isn't
Uh-huh.
correct. Because then when you're reading
Yep.
it when you're actually in the article, then you're seeing that what exactly is actually happening. But like you said, it was artificial coloring, and that was a direct effect from the banning of dyes and all that other stuff that went on
Hmm.
prior to that.
Yep.
yeah.
It's following the pattern. You know,
Yeah, yeah. No,
are you
it's
good? Are
definitely
you
good.
getting good at? I was gonna say, are you getting good at spotting those AI fake stories?
Yeah, they pop up in my feed too.
Yeah.
It's why I get my stuff from, like, certain areas. They do pop up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this? You know.
Yeah.
What did Jillian's those EOs that
Um,
President Trump signed?
the thing. Oh, hang on, I'll bring it up for us to see. She says, the
Going
thing
blind.
is, with all the EOs that President Trump signed, unless Republicans get their shit in order, nothing in signed will be codified into law without Congress, and that's what sucks.
That's
100% correct,
exactly.
Yeah.
man. We've
Yeah.
myself and Scott have been beating that drum. How long now, Scott? Since he came back into
Long,
office, since January
since
20th,
probably
we've been beating
before.
that drum. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
Well, you know
since
what?
Trump,
That
go
was
ahead,
one
Danny.
of the things that I've been most upset about since we won the election and since Trump took office back in January. That's one of the things that I've been most frustrated with is Congress, man. Because how is it that we hold the majority and yet
Mhm.
all this shit has to go through executive order? How come Congress isn't fucking doing a fucking thing? They're literally right now.
Yep.
They're literally like, okay, you know what? Let's have Trump sign all these executive orders so that way if the public doesn't like it, it's not going to come down on us. It'll come down on him, which he's fine with taking the hit. He doesn't care, but we don't want it. We don't want people to get mad at us and this and that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, fucking nut the fuck up and do what's right for the country. What the fuck are you guys waiting for? You guys have a fucking majority. This is bullshit. A
Well,
lot of this shit should have been signed into law already. There's no
well,
there's no reason why any of this shit should have been fucking executive orders. This this is what we fucking voted for, man.
correct. But what we have to understand is, unfortunately, we don't have what I would say is a supermajority, right? So, we don't even have
No.
any We don't have any Democrats that would come along with us. Okay.
But Eric,
Um, but
but
hang on,
Eric,
Because they can do
but
that.
hang on,
They
let
can
me
well,
do that in the
let me
House.
finish my
go ahead.
point. Let me finish my point. So,
Yeah,
what I'm saying is, for instance, I agree 100% with you, right? At a base minimum, our House of Representatives should be fucking passing bills, okay, and forcing the Democrats to vote on this shit. You know they're gonna vote no on everything, right? So you know that, and
right.
that way we can at least get it to the Senate, and we can get it on record. That fucking the Senate Democrats are just gonna vote no on absolutely everything and kill absolutely every bill that comes through,
And the
right?
rhinos.
And the rhinos, right? The rhinos are going to go. That's the problem, is the Senate. But I have a big problem right now with the House of Representatives as a whole, okay, Congress as a whole, because the Republicans in the House of Representatives are not moving anything to the Senate. Every now and then
Yeah,
you get something that everybody kind of agrees on, and then it gets to the president's desk. So I think what's going to happen now, it has to happen, is that a lot of this shit is going to have to get, what do you call it, brought up on the reconciliation bill, in order, so you don't need the 60 fucking vote majority that we need on a lot of these bills. So
there you
that's the
go.
problem we're having right now, is like we have to
Yeah.
wait till reconciliation happens in order to actually do this. But the reality is we shouldn't have to function like that, right? It should
Yeah,
just be, I agree, like, with some things it's not a majority of 60 votes, and with some things it's just a majority,
right.
you get to pass shit. But most things with bills, it's unfortunately you need 60 fucking votes. And
Agreed.
we don't have strong Republicans in the Senate, for one. and
Nope.
and the Democrats they're just gonna fucking filibuster, and they're gonna vote no on anything that the Republicans put. But we should still be doing that. We shouldn't just sit
Yeah,
back and say, oh well, they're not gonna vote on it, so we should be passing bills, so that if we, again, I said this after the election, I think that fucking it's going away now. After the election, I said we have a chance in 2026 to do something, okay, really, really great, to benefit us. We can add to our majorities in both houses if we just do things right. But we have been sitting stagnant right now. Not the president, because the president is writing executive orders. And as you see, every time he writes an executive order, he has some fucking activist judge. He's getting sued, okay, by a bunch of AGs from states, and these activist judges fucking put that shit on hold. But that, to me, is what I understand is the issue right now. But I'm with you, man. It's not really, fucking nothing's getting done. Let's just put it that way. Nothing, absolutely nothing's getting done.
yeah. No, absolutely. And I guess that was kind of where I was going to go with it, the whole reconciliation, like you were saying. But, kind of back to my point is like, these guys are literally just sitting there on their hands, not doing a damn thing because they know that President Trump will just sign an executive order to put it into place. And it'll be good for his term, his 4 years, but then as soon as he's gone, what
Yep.
if we get another Biden, or we get some fucking whack job, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like all that shit goes away. So
Correct.
that's what I'm saying. Like we need Congress to start actually fucking working, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what's so upsetting with all this. And
Yeah.
just like you were saying, like going with the whole reconciliation or drawing up these plans, sending them to the Senate, and letting the people see what the Democrats are actually voting no on is important.
Right.
But the
Yes.
fucking, the House ain't doing shit. And it's
Correct.
fucking frustrating, bro.
It
It's
is.
just so fucking frustrating, man. Like we have an opportunity here to really guide this country back to, less government spending and less oversight and less, and taxing people that want to do business here rather than taxing the people here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have an opportunity to to make an amazing change in this country, and these motherfuckers are just sitting on their hands, not doing a
Agree.
fucking thing, bro.
No
It's
argument for
frustrating.
me.
I can't it literally pisses me off. Like
Yeah.
we the people are fucking struggling paycheck to paycheck. We're living paycheck to paycheck. We're trying to buy homes that fucking Chinese investors come and fucking stack an extra $100,000 on the fucking price of the house just so that they could buy it. And they're just buying the American people out, and the fucking Congress ain't doing a goddamn thing, bro. It's
Yeah,
so
man.
fucking frustrating. You know what I mean?
Very.
This is why I turn the news off, bro.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I honestly don't blame you.
You know?
Hey Chelsea, what's going on? Go ahead. Go ahead. Noemi, you were gonna say something?
I think it's better like this because I can't
That's
hear
fine.
myself when I put the video
Yeah.
on for some reason. It's like on the highest, um, like I'm on fiber and
Uh-huh.
it's still not good because we had like a dumping ground here, like a radioactive crazy thing that happened. So it's pretty much underground and I'm on a bad spot.
Oh,
Oh
but we can
man.
hear you. We
That's
hear you
why
with no echo now, so it's okay. Just go ahead. What were you gonna say about what we
I
were talking about?
I hope
I was
Noemi gets superpowers from that. I think Noemi's gonna get some superpowers, bro.
She's gonna get
maybe
bit,
I'm about to
stung by a
try.
From the
radioactive
radioactive
scorpion.
waste.
It'll be a radioactive scorpion.
It's a trip. I'll post it soon. But the thing is that what's pissed off many people is exactly what you were talking about, Danny. The money. I mean, of course, like it messes with everybody's pockets, and when that happens, that's when people do something about whatever they have to do. You know,
Yeah.
when people get pissed enough, they do something. You know.
Yeah, it's listen, anybody who's watched this show and many of the guests, including Danny and Noemi, who have been on several, a couple of times now, you've also heard myself and Scott at nauseum talk about local elections and everything, and staying up on absolutely what's happening. Okay, in your areas, you can't just concentrate on the stuff that happens nationally. It's just more important to concentrate on what's going on in your town, your village, okay, your state and whatnot. And again, it's like people were pissed off this last election, but then all of a sudden that went away. I don't understand why, but
Right.
people should
Yeah.
just be, you should be banging on the doors. You should be blowing up the phones of your representatives, period, whether it's
You
in your
know what?
Yeah.
state.
You know what actually happened to many people? They actually did get brainwashed again because I have spoken to people like even Spanish speakers, and they're like, no, nos van a llevar, they're gonna take us. They're telling us that, and I had to remind people that I know myself. I'm like, do you know who they're really taking, or do you know the story of why they took that lady? You never know. Like she might have been crossing people or drugs. Like we
Yeah.
don't know these stories. They just appear to us very emotionally, and then you get caught up in that, and that's what happens. There was horrible things happening when Biden was in office, but nobody
Yeah.
talks about that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
unless you come to shows like ours and other, obviously other influencers and whatnot. I don't see myself as an influencer. It's just, hey, this is what's going on, and I'm just gonna bring it to you guys, and we'll
Hmm.
talk about it. And here's a space for you to come and listen to it. We many a times on this show we have talked about something that the Marxist state media hasn't, and we what do you call it? We're ahead of them. It's funny, like, yeah, like I'll post
Thank you
something,
guys.
we'll talk about something, and then the next day or 2 days later something will pop up, and Scott and I be like, yo, didn't we just talk about that? It's like, yeah, because we're ahead. The what do you call it? The
Over
Marxist
the
state media
target.
doesn't do what it's supposed to. Yeah, we try to be over the target. We're obviously not over the target all the time, but we try to do our best um with the stuff that we talk about. But it's very, very frustrating. You just get tired of seeing it. Just nothing getting done, and we got milk toast Republicans in the fucking Senate, and right now our House of Representatives just isn't even moving bills into the Senate, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
just put it out there for the country to see, like you were saying, Danny, and like I said earlier, so we can see who votes on what.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
These are all the fucking people, Republican and Democrats, that voted no on this bill. This is why it's not happening. And until we take that type of action, okay, that's people are gonna continue to fucking be frustrated and whatnot. How can the people take action themselves if they don't know what's going on? And if you're not moving anything and you're not making any moves, then nobody's gonna know anything.
Right.
Good point. I know, because I remember just talking to one of my, well, I thought he was more on the right, but he apparently went back to the left.
Mm-hmm.
He was speaking on that too. He's like, you think Trump is gonna care to deport you or like your family or something? If it was up to them, they would deport us all. I'm like, dude, they haven't deported me, so what are you talking about? So I don't know. You should just look into who he really is deporting. And I sent them the ICE like website,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, no, I know he's deporting the Mexicans too. I'm like, well, he is, because they're related to cartels and stuff. So
Yeah, but even with Mexicans, like we said earlier on before you came on, we were talking about how the libtards were out there talking about that we're not allowed, if we're MAGA or anything, we're not allowed to celebrate Cinco de Mayo because we're supposedly deporting
or eat
Mexicans.
my
And it was like,
tacos. Hell no.
it's like, that's not even really a thing. Mass deportation of Mexicans isn't even a thing anymore.
And they were
of course, are there Mexicans that get caught up that are here illegal? Yeah, but most of these deportations are
Not
from
much
South.
anymore though.
Yeah, but I'm saying they might get caught up if they're illegal. But the mass deportation that's going on right now is Venezuelans and South Americans and Central Americans right now is what's going on. So, if you're Mexican and you believe that they're just gonna round up other Mexicans, especially American Mexicans, then you're just fucking off your rocker.
right.
Yeah.
I think people are misinformed, but sometimes they see the truth and they don't
Racist.
want to. Yeah, they're racist.
Yeah, it's think about how
No, but
racist
for
that is,
real,
right?
I'm
No, think
like,
about how
dude,
racist
you
that
think
is.
Trump is only deporting Mexicans? He's deporting all kinds of people.
So
So
stupid.
Yeah.
It,
that
it's
was my
it's just
point.
I had
go
to
ahead,
take my
Scott.
blanket off. I tapped out.
It's too
You
damn
tapped
hot,
out.
huh?
It was too damn hot with that
Tiger
fucking
It is.
blanket.
yeah, with your
It's
tiger
May
blanket.
here. My God.
Yeah,
Hey,
It's
it's
kind of
that.
rainy over here.
what's the weather like over there on the East Coast right now?
I guess depending on where you're at, where I'm at, it's been in the 80s throughout the day. And it cools
No
off a little
way.
bit.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And here it's the 90s every day.
yeah,
Holy shit! Already,
Dang,
huh?
it's
Every
hot
day.
over
yeah,
there.
Every
yeah.
day.
It's been in the 80s, and
It's
Damn.
raining over here. It's raining in California too, huh, Danny?
Yeah. We got like a little rainstorm that came in. I want to say like two nights ago or something, and we've gotten some much needed rain over here in Southern California. So thankfully we're getting some rain, and it's cooled down quite a bit. And as you can see, I'm wearing a sweater, man. I mean, it's a bit chilly right
Crazy.
now. So yeah,
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 It's a little cold.
it's like
and
40 degrees, man. It's fucking cold.
yeah. And Jillian responded to what we were talking about. She says, people that don't really follow how politics work think the president has all the power when in fact it's Congress. 100%. It's frustrating. They hardly even work. Like, get to work and push shit through. It's
Mhm.
Yeah,
again, I would rather see, and this may sound dumb of me, I would rather see us fighting, okay, and to get things to the Senate so that we can see who in the Senate, Republican and Democrat, is gonna do the dumb shit, right? So then,
yeah,
because then we know as a citizenry, as a populace in these states that voted for Trump and voted for the agenda can see who their senators are and can make a change, but
yeah,
nothing's moving. It's just everything is just stagnant right now.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
But
so who else?
it's
Go ahead, Dan.
I didn't get to see who dropped that comment, but
That was
it's
Jillian.
like
Jillian, yeah.
it's kind of like going back to our point. Like the fucking Congress would rather let President Trump be the scapegoat and write all these executive orders, and if he gets hate, by the majority of the people, they're like, oh well, we had nothing to do with it. That
Yeah.
wasn't us. That was
It's
President Trump. Remember everybody said hate Trump? Yeah. You guys should go hate Trump. Go hate Trump right now. Like go,
Yeah.
go, go, go. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
don't put the light on us. Go put the light back on him. And it's
Yeah.
like, and that's what's so frustrating with all this, man. I'm, it is what it is, man. It's
Yeah.
frustrating though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've heard so much bad things too about
I see him
even
every
like
day.
our governor
Oh my
in the
God,
Yeah.
your governor.
90s.
Wait, you're
Yeah.
governor, Nevada?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Jillian asked about I actually
Mm,
spoke about the mineral we spoke about on the minerals last week, Jillian,
Mhm.
the mineral deal with Ukraine, and I'm of the mindset that if you know at any point we're helping anybody, we should be getting a reach around, period. It's like it's a win-win for us in the end because these are minerals we need to actually make things here in the United States. Even though we have a massive amount of our own minerals that we should be fucking tapping into in reality of things. But
mhm.
yeah, it's we talked about that, and I talked about how um s- we opened it back up. President Trump opened it back up for us to get minerals off of our seabed in American waters and stuff like that. But it's just tough. We should really be doing shit here in our nation. We got we
Mhm.
got quite the bit of minerals that we could be taking care of on our own here in the United States. Our resources, we're
Yeah.
pretty heavy with resources here in the U.S. that not just oil and natural gas and whatnot. There are things we can do to benefit us. But listen, you actually made a point, Dan. You said something earlier about one of the things that Trump is trying to do is he's and I've said it, in the past is that once we turn the American manufacturing light back on, okay,
Mhm.
it's just you're gonna get a way better product. All right. And
Yeah.
he's trying to make it so that people want to build here in the United States. Right. That's the whole thing with the tariffs, right? It's a negotiation ploy. That's all it really is. He's hitting everybody with these tariffs that have been, raking us over the coals since, post World War II and whatnot. And he's like, why don't you just come and negotiate? And some of these countries are like, why don't we just get rid of tariffs altogether? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Then it's actual free trade, right? Like if you get rid of
Yeah.
tariffs altogether, then it's actual free
Yep.
trade. All right.
Yep.
But my caveat to that is that all right, we can do that, but don't also fucking limit what it is that we can sell. You want to sell all your shit here, but you won't let us sell our shit there. So like it's
Wow.
just gotta be there's no give and take. It's gotta be a give on both ends because on both sides win if that's the case. And that's actually real true free trade. Okay.
Yep.
Um but he's trying to turn our manufacturing lights back on in the United States. And the whole thing with the tariffs too is hey, if you come here, you don't have to even worry about the tariffs because you're building your shit here anyway, right? So that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. Obviously, it creates jobs here in the United States, and it's for national security purposes. Like build our shit here,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and again,
Exactly.
going back to the resources for national security reasons, we should be taking our own resources. Really, we really even
Mhm.
shouldn't have to depend on fucking making a deal with Ukraine and whatnot because we got resources that we can get here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Zelensky is such a little prick.
I know
Yeah.
He should be
I'm
fucking
gonna punch
grateful. And
him.
he shouldn't even be in power right now. That's the thing. He shouldn't even be
Yeah.
president right now.
yeah,
I
he
know.
suspend he
That's the
Little
real
dictator.
fucking thing. You know what I mean? That's
yeah he
really what everybody should be talking about right now.
Yeah,
You
he
know?
They
suspended
don't.
the elections in April of last year. They have their elections every 5 years in the Ukraine. Some of my first videos was talking about him being, the U.S.'s biggest welfare recipient because of what the Biden
Mhm.
administration at the time was doing, and
Mm-hmm.
I had brought that up on like I brought that up that this guy is Putin light. We talk about fucking Putin. Putin's no friend of ours either.
Nope.
They both do the same shit. They both have gotten rid of their competition. Okay, they thrown people in jail. Fucking in Zelensky's case, he suspended elections, okay, last April, and then went into martial law and hasn't. He just refuses to give shit up, right? He's not gonna give
Yep.
shit up. They're gonna, unfortunately, it's gonna have to come to drastic measures to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And it's a
Yeah.
huge human trafficking hub too, Ukraine.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
well, Eastern Europe as a
Well, that's
whole.
true. Yeah.
The issue in Eastern Europe as a whole when it comes to trafficking, but the Ukraine is definitely a big hub for
That's
it.
why they were best buddies, Biden and him.
Yeah.
They
But
were
yeah,
like trafficking people and
yeah,
kids.
they were, but the Bidens were making a killing from the oligarchy over there in the Ukraine,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
Zelensky when
And the
Zelensky got
Clintons.
yeah, and when
Yep.
Zelensky got elected, okay, he knew where all the bodies were at, all right, because he got elected. I want to say I think it was like 2014 was his first election, I think, around that time or
So,
2015. I'm sorry, and that was post after. it's either 2015 or 2016. Jonathan, can you fucking pull that up for us, please? Anyway,
Yeah.
he knew where all the bodies were at, and as soon as
Yep.
Biden got elected and he was in, it was we're gonna fucking just drop these fucking body bombs on you into the press and all this other stuff if you don't take care of us, with the Russians and everything like that. And Biden, that's where they were money laundering a lot of their money. I'm sure they got. Scott has said it on more than one occasion. They probably got tons of fucking offshore accounts that we don't even know about and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
What's your question, Chelsea?
Yeah. Question.
Speak louder, Chelsea. We don't hear you.
Chelsea, you said you had a question,
Chelsea.
hon. It's good to see you.
Should not have. Nia says.
All right. So your question is, the answer is no. It says when the U.S. sends billions to the Ukraine, does the Ukraine have to give the U.S. itemized accounting of how the money is spent? That is the way it should be. That is what we have demanded of other nations when we've done this in the past, but that's not what has gone on in Ukraine. Go ahead, Scott.
There was a bill before Trump became president. I think it was 2024. There was a bill that I think it might have been Marjorie Taylor Greene or somebody like a Matt Gaetz. They put a bill up to say that they wanted to itemize
Yes,
and audit
I
the
remember
funds that we gave to Ukraine. And guess who voted it down?
Who did it this time?
Oh, man.
Democrats. The
Democrats.
Other than the
I
Democrats.
wonder who.
They all said, and I'm sure there were some rhinos in there too that probably voted it down as well.
I thought you were going to tell us which Republicans voted it down, but yeah, the
Oh
Democrats.
no, I wish I knew, but yeah, probably it wasn't just the Democrats.
Right.
But yeah, it was the fact that it was voted down. I remember it pissing me off. I was like, you mother effers.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Like they all know, they're all getting, and it was right after that, I think, that we started seeing those stories about whose butter was being breaded, or bread was being buttered from the Ukraine funding. You started seeing McConnell's name and Pelosi's name and Biden's name, just as many Republicans on that list, and even that douche from Texas, eye patch douche name.
Yeah.
Everybody,
man, yeah.
One Eye Willie,
everybody getting their butter,
Dan
their
Crenshaw.
bread buttered.
Yeah.
Everybody getting their fucking taste.
Man, that guy was such a fucking disappointment, man. I had so many high hopes for that guy, Dan Crenshaw. I really thought that Dan Crenshaw was going to be, at the very, very top someday. I really felt like this guy could lead the Republican Party. This guy could lead the conservative movement. And what a fucking disappointment that guy has become, man.
Complete tool.
It just makes me sick to my stomach. I cannot fucking believe this guy,
Zelensky, just so for everybody knows, Jonathan brought it up. He says Zelensky was in 2019. Viktor Yanukovych was president in 2014. Then from 14 to 19, Petro Poroshenko, and then Zelensky after that. Thanks, Jonathan. I knew he was in the teens, and I knew that he came into power around the time that Biden was coming over. But yeah, Eye Patch McCain, fucking One Eye Willie, fuck him, and the chupacabra that motherfucker rode in on. He could turn that bitch around and ride off a cliff straight to fucking hell. Mitch Foreskin Neck McConnell is making a killing off of the military industrial complex. Lindsey Graham is making a ton of fucking money off the military industrial complex. So they actually told on themselves, and I forgot who it was. It was under the Biden administration. They were out there speaking about it, and they asked them, and they were like, well, most of this money isn't even going to Ukraine, right? They like told on themselves. It's like it's going to the companies, and the companies are fucking making the systems, and these and then we're sending these military, fucking war making systems to Ukraine and sending personnel. And I was like, yeah, well, we all know that, right? But you just told on yourselves, right? And it was like essentially everybody who's connected to the military industrial complex is getting all kinds of kickbacks, and not just from the stock going through the roof, and they're making money off of their fucking dividends and stuff like that. They're making a shit ton of money off the kickbacks because they're helping push this stuff through, and many of them were Republicans, like we were saying, are they're on the same. The Uniparty got together with this shit, and they were making a killing off of it.
They don't want it to ever end.
So here's my question.
Go ahead.
Obviously, since Trump took office, we haven't been sending these blank checks, right, to fucking Ukraine. But Are they still partially being funded through other, other ways here and there from the
So
U.S. government to?
so
Oh, well,
no.
definitely,
So
definitely NATO.
yeah,
Mm.
definitely the NATO
Okay.
countries are definitely contributing to their stuff. The Brits are even talking about sending troops over there and everything. We had the real Tomley Booz was on here, was like he was out of his mind about that. But the only money that I
The
know from the
Brits,
U.S.
the Brits are going to
Yeah,
send troops.
it's just talking. It's just talk.
Ground
You know how it is.
troops. That's what they
Posturing.
said.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Wow.
posturing. Yeah.
They need
Um,
to secure their own fucking homeland first.
yeah. That's
Yeah, they
Like,
really
what
England's
the
do.
lost
fuck
right
is
now.
going on in England, man? That's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, we'll get into that really quick. We'll actually get into that a little bit. But any money that they're receiving
My
right
bad.
now was money that was already allocated for them under Biden. So that's the only shit that, but as far as under the Trump administration, I have no knowledge. If anybody has any knowledge of him signing any, I haven't seen any bills come across Congress in the last fucking, what do you call it, 3 months to put on his
Yeah, I
desk to
haven't
sign
They
seen
off on
haven't.
anything.
fucking.
They haven't
I
given
haven't
them
seen
any
anything.
blanket aid, but I think they did sell them something at one point. I think they did, to be honest.
But that's different, right? I think
But
you're right.
it
I
may
think
not
you're
have
right,
been this
Scott.
year, though. I could be thinking of
Yeah,
last year because that when Johnson became Speaker of the House, this is one of those things I had to keep talking people down from the ledge about. Is that
Hmm.
they were talking about sending uh, packages over to Ukraine, but once Johnson got into the Speaker, they stopped. They did not
Mm.
just send them any more, like just here's 50 million or here's 100. At least Congress did. Biden was
yeah,
still siphoning off money from here or there. He was reallocating money from the
Yes,
military budget to do shit,
correct.
but Congress stopped it. Congress stopped that bleeding.
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah.
gave a
So
bunch of our
that's
stuff
yeah, that was
away.
kind of my point. That's where I was. That was the point I was trying to get to. Is if anybody has any sort of information out there that they think is legit,
Oh,
I would love to
nothing.
hear it. I would love to hear it. But as far as I know, I haven't heard anything about
Yeah.
since President Trump took office that we've continued to send any sort of money or aid or anything. But I'm just curious because sometimes we're so tuned in our own echo chambers sometimes that we
Yeah.
forget to fucking hold on. We need to get out of our echo chamber for a second. We need to try and see if there really is anything else going on out there. And so that's why I'm saying, like, it's good for us to check ourselves every once in a while and be like, okay, wait, whoa, hold on. I'm starting to fall into this echo chamber. Let me get out and let me
Yeah.
try and hear what other sides are saying, and let me see if there is any facts to what they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's the reason I raised the question. I was just curious.
No,
Does
that's a
anybody
valid
know of
question.
anything? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead,
I can
Scott.
tell you, dude, I can tell you that half the channels I follow on Telegram, they are just they don't pull any punches, and they go after the Republicans as much as they go after the Democrats. They go after
As it should
Good,
be.
they'll go after
good.
Trump, and they'll be like, this is a bad, like the whole thing over the weekend when the whole thing with the that ridiculous bill that came to light about the whole Israel. We're not allowed to criticize something. Say like you can't
Boycott.
boycott Israel
Yeah.
or something
Yeah,
like
well,
that. There was
that's
there was
fucking
some
bullshit.
there was
Yeah,
some
I'm an
that's
bill that
American.
was
I'll
going to come
fucking talk
out.
shit about whoever the fuck I want. I don't give a
Well, yeah,
fuck.
yeah,
well, it was about
Right?
boycotting. It was about boycotting, not so much speech,
business.
but
Yeah.
still,
No, yeah, it was about
it was
boycotting
very
business and stuff like
yeah,
that.
it was about it
Yeah.
was very vague language, and you could just see
Yeah,
what if in the hands of the wrong person or the wrong Congress,
absolutely.
they could fucking wipe people out with that shit.
Correct.
So
Mm.
Yeah.
thankfully, some cooler heads prevailed because enough people got loud about it
Yes.
online. Even people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who had the
Yeah.
courage to speak up and say "fuck this shit."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one I saw.
Enough
She
people
Yeah.
hasn't
said
been
online.
she hasn't been, what do you call it, she hasn't been hateful to Israel or anything like that, so nobody could say that about her.
No,
Okay, and
Yeah.
no,
it's the right thing to do. Okay, here's my thing. All right,
yeah,
you guys know where I stand on shit. All right, I don't give a fuck what anybody says about anything, to tell you the truth, because free speech is just that, free speech. It's all protected. Okay, hate speech, fucking the Supreme Court has already ruled on this shit a long time ago. All right,
mhm,
and if I don't like something, me personally, right? If I'm hearing something I don't like, you know what I do? If I'm on TV, I turn the fucking channel. It's that simple.
Yeah.
I don't get
Mhm.
upset. I'm not a pussy. I don't need to fucking type in somebody's freaking chat and be like, oh, unfollowed. I don't need to do any of that. It's just because if I don't like something, I just was like, all right. Or if I think something is bullshit, I just go move on. I don't have to get
Yeah.
upset about anything. I don't get upset about all that shit. But this shit,
Yeah.
this past weekend, to me, was like, nah, fuck that. I wouldn't. It's not even just the Israel thing. I wouldn't if they were saying fucking boycott. If you boycott fucking whatever Great Britain business, British businesses, I would have the same reaction. Okay, like you're gonna fucking punish people because they don't want to spend their money someplace because of their ideals or whatever. Who gives a fuck? Go ahead, Scott.
Right.
I was gonna say the conversation I have with a lot of patriots today about that very thing is I told them every single one of them the same thing. I said Congress, the president, whatever, they shouldn't be passing any laws that
Mm-hmm.
are for a specific, that either benefit or punish a certain group.
Correct.
If it should benefit everybody or it should punish everybody as long as it stays within the confines of the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Because every
Yeah.
time you freaking pick, and that's what the whole identity politics does, is when they're picking out these little groups,
Yes.
whether it be religious or racial or ethnic or sexual or gender, whatever. Then every time they
Yeah.
pick out these
Yeah.
little groups, what they're doing is they're sowing division.
Yes.
Nobody
Yeah.
should, if we're all equal. I mean, how many times does it say in the Constitution, well, we're all equal? If
Yeah.
we're all equal, then we all eat from the same fucking plate. Okay?
Yeah. Well,
Everyone is equally criticizable. Everyone gets the same reward. Bottom line.
Yeah.
yeah. I go ahead, Noemi, and
I
I'll
said,
follow up
yeah,
after you.
that's the same argument that I have when I speak with people about what's going on with the immigration, like when they're like due process, were they born here? Did they violate, the laws? They don't have no due process anyway,
Yeah.
considering that they were not born here. Like we don't have the same rights if we go to another country. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like it doesn't apply to the world. It only applies to
Right.
us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, 100%. But to follow up with what Scott was saying, again, I'm with you, man. Listen, we already got civil rights laws on the books already. Okay, for
Yeah.
this shit. Okay, when you see in the law that says you can't discriminate against anybody for race, fucking religion, creed, sexual orientation, and stuff, that covers it all. All right,
That
it's
covers it.
not vague. It's not vague, so you don't have to plug out any special fucking language for any special groups, no matter who it is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's the whole
Yeah.
reason why. It's the whole reason why the Supreme Court has fucking destroyed affirmative action, which is racist in itself.
Right.
All right,
It was.
so like,
Right.
Exactly.
and it had nothing to do with even blacks. It was because of what they were doing to Asians and whites at Harvard.
Right.
Okay, so like, so you
That's
know
what
what I'm
it.
saying?
That's what
So
it
Right.
took.
that's what it took, right? So like, it to me, we don't need any special carve outs for anybody. The law is pretty clear on what it is that we can. Or what we need to do is just enforce the laws as as they should be enforced. Okay, so when somebody does something wrong, okay, against whoever it is, whatever race, that violates somebody's civil rights, that's how you fucking go after them. But we don't do that. We just again go into what you were saying. The Marxist left went from trying to create a caste system in the United States to, since that really didn't work, okay, and people still want capitalism and stuff like that, to now they moved right into identity politics. That was the next thing. Okay. And like you said, Scott, it's all about division, man. And if we just fucking
Mhm.
stop for a second and just take a deep breath and just look at the big picture of what it is that they're trying to do, you will see exactly what it's in their playbooks, right? Like you have to read some of their playbooks to actually understand this, but it's all in their playbooks, okay, on what it is you're supposed to do in order to create division and to get us to where we're at right now. Now, it didn't help that we had a Marxist president like Obama that took us our race relations back to the fucking 1960s, okay,
Yeah.
1950s and shit like that, with all his identity politics shit. That he's the one who actually triggered that, because we had a lot of this shit figured out. Okay, in the
We did.
1990s, early 2000s, we had a lot of this
Mhm.
shit figured out. But yeah, I'm not with that. I'm not with any kind of carve outs for any fucking special groups. I don't care who
It's
they are. It doesn't
you
matter
know
who they
what?
are.
Yeah.
It's like the meme just says, the meme that goes, the Constitution doesn't need to be rewritten. It needs to be reread.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just
that's
reread
true.
it.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Well, actually, you
Yeah.
know what? And you just hit a very good point, bro. That I wanted to that I continue to say is important is I don't feel like enough kids are graduating high school realizing what the Constitution is, what it protects them from,
They don't
how to
they,
use it in their benefit.
they don't teach it,
I
Danny.
feel like U.S. government
Don't
classes
teach
are
it.
fucking failing our kids. You know what I mean? Like I
It's
don't feel like
That's
kids.
not even a
I'm sorry,
class
what?
anymore, Danny. That's not even a class anymore, Danny. U.S. government is
U.S.
not even a
government?
class anymore.
U.S.
It's not a
government?
you you hard pressed to find a U.S. government class in today's high schools.
Uh, well, let me. I
It's
don't
still a
know.
class.
I don't know about
It's
your
still a
state. I don't know
it's
about your
still a
state.
it's still a class. Like it is something that you should be able to take. It's something. But what I'm saying is, it's hard pressed to even if you have the class in a high school, whatever, in a school system. Okay, it's not being taught correctly.
Well, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, okay.
so
Well,
so in essence,
that's what I'm saying.
you're not even learning at all anyway. But in some places, it's not even a class, bro. Is
It's
what
in
I'm trying to tell
DEI
you.
form.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the point I was trying to say, U.S. government is mandatory in the state of California. You must take U.S. government your senior year. But
Yes.
what I'm saying is, I don't feel like U.S. government is doing their purpose in teaching these seniors what the Constitution is, how our government is structured to be, and people are graduating high school not knowing what the fuck the three branches are responsible for, um, how much power each branch has. Like I talk to people at work, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck did you not take, like, were you asleep in government? Like, what the fuck, dude? But that's kind of like what I'm saying is like we need to make sure that our education system is actually teaching and and making the students understand how important our Constitution is to the way of life and the way our life will be when we're adults and we need to start hitting the workforce and we need to start working and providing, this and that. Like, you need to understand what the restrictions are of the government and what your liberties are as a human in this country, as a citizen of this country. And I feel like the education system is failing our kids because they
Intentionally.
just don't fucking know. And I'm like,
Intentionally though. But that's by design,
yeah,
Danny.
well, yeah,
Right.
intentionally. No, you're right.
It's by
I'm not.
design.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right,
it's by
bro.
design. Okay,
I
because
remember our teacher used to give us all the answers. Just write all these down.
yeah,
That's
like
how bad it was.
I'll tell you
I
what. I was a straight D student in high school, but one class I absolutely loved was U.S. government. Man, I
yeah.
it really opened up my eyes, and like just being a
For
rebellious kid, like I kind of like, for some reason U.S. government clicked with me, and I was like,
Mhm.
man, we have so many fucking liberties. But if you, from what I'm learning in textbooks right now and what I'm actually like learning, not so much like what the teacher's telling me, but what I'm actually learning compared to
Mhm.
what I see how our world is, I was like, no, man, we should be way more free than what the fuck, our
we
daily lives are. You know what I mean?
bro, I
Mhm.
can tell you, everybody knows I'm 50, 51 years old. Okay. Um,
Dang,
here's the
you
Bro,
do
thing.
you look
not look
Actually,
31.
51.
You look
actually,
31,
no,
bro.
wait a minute.
Dude,
Wait a
You
you
look
minute.
look
31,
31
Eric.
for real.
Hey, that South Carolina air is doing you
Yeah.
good, man.
All the
But
mist in your
and
skin.
and Scott will probably be able to agree with me. I remember in elementary school,
Because I'm
okay,
51 too.
we got civics in elementary school, okay? So it followed you. You got civics in elementary school around 5th to 6th grade. It followed you to fucking junior high school. Okay, you learned a little bit more, and then when you got to high school, you went into more depth. Okay, and you covered the fucking Bill of Rights more. Okay, that it followed you. That's how civics used to be taught in this nation. Okay, it's just not anymore. It's an
Yeah,
embarrassment because these kids, like you were saying,
yeah,
all you have to do is go on social media and listen to any man on the street interview type thing. When someone is asking questions of the younger generation, all right, they're asking them questions like just basic knowledge questions you should know as an American citizen. Nothing deep or anything like that, and they can't tell you who's who. They can't tell you. These are
yep,
things, like I said, I remember from elementary school to junior high school and then to high school, it followed me. Civics followed with you. All right. We're probably the last generation that maybe the older millennials got some of that as well. Okay. But I know Gen X, many of us had that, and it's fucking sad, man. Um, it's just really sad to see that it's not being taught anymore. I
yeah,
learned a valuable lesson about our education system. Um, In 2018, I went on a Band of Brothers tour to Europe with my family. We started in Georgia, then we went to fucking England. We went across the channel to France. Everywhere where the 101st Easy Company and 101st went, we followed them. You know, their tour, their World War II campaign, and we also did extra stuff too, right? Like, so there was other things, and this was an eye-opening experience for me. We were in Normandy at Normandy at Utah Beach. There's the D-Day, a big D-Day museum there. Okay, and we're at Utah Beach, and we're fucking in the museum and everything. And after we're done, as I'm in the museum, I'm looking at there are kids. There was a group of kids, teenage kids. They looked like they were definitely high school level. Okay, that were in the museum. They weren't there. This is the middle of the summer, so they weren't there with a school. They were there as a group just to fucking learn. All right. And then
Nice.
we go down to the beach, to Utah Beach, and our historian is fucking talking to us about some of the units and stuff like that. Some personal stories for personal, some of the personal World War II guys that happened on the beach. And this same group was following us, right? Because they wanted, in perfect English, they went up to our historian and said, "Is it okay if we stand in the background and listen to the stories that you're telling because we want to learn them?" And it was just fucking eye-opening to me how shitty our history is in the United States with how we teach our kids, and our kids aren't even interested in it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
here I
Yeah.
am in
pretty
France, in
much.
Normandy. The Norman kids are like fucking. They're on the beach, and everywhere you go in Normandy, there are American flags, British flags, and fucking Canadian flags everywhere. There are older men driving around fucking jeeps, American jeeps and stuff like that. Okay, military jeeps. There are monuments for soldiers and stuff like that, or units that fucking had battles and died and stuff like that with American flags up and everything like that. This is in Normandy, France. All right.
Wow.
So they
Have you ever
continue to
seen
teach their kids the history of what it took, okay, for fucking them to after German occupation to be free. Go ahead, Scott.
have you ever seen those videos? I mean, I've seen them on TikTok mostly, but the videos of like these old timers, like these World War II veterans, um, that are going to to the beaches just to see,
Yeah.
and kids from Normandy, kids from like wherever they are in France, they literally go up and they like shaking their hands still,
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying, "Yeah, because of you, my grandfather, survived, or my grandmother survived." And they're literally hugging them and shaking their hand and saluting them, and it's like bringing these old soldiers like to tears.
Yeah.
It's really touching. But you
It's
would never see that here. You'd
no, you
never see
wouldn't.
that here.
I'll tell you a story that happened to me, Scott. On the same trip, when we went to Utah Beach. After Utah Beach, we went to the Normandy Cemetery. Okay, now just for educational purposes, these cemeteries are actually American soil and belong to the United States. Anywhere we have these
Mhm.
cemeteries, and we have a whole bunch of them from World War One too. There are American plots. These countries gave us this land. Okay, so when you walk into these cemeteries, there's a like usually like either the right or the left there's a campaign map of whatever was happening at the time, right? So in this case, it's a campaign map of the Normandy invasion, all the units, okay? You have the unit flags and patches and stuff like that. It's a really beautiful monument. So in this case, in Normandy, there's a path, monuments to the right, and when you look to your left, it's just white crosses and stars of David, mainly crosses and stuff like that, as far as the eye can see. All right. So we're
Mhm.
walking in there. My dad, my dad's a World War II kid. All right. My grandfather, many of you have heard me tell the story. My grandfather, he was at Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. So for him, my dad, World War II is a big thing because of my grandfather. He was at Pearl Harbor, and he used to do what do you call it, runs into the North Atlantic runs and got sunk by German U-boats on 3 separate occasions and survived them. So like for my father, it is a big thing, World War II and the sacrifice. So anyway, we're in the cemetery. He looks to the left, and my dad's not a very emotional man. All right, now that he's a little bit older, he's getting a little bit more emotional. He's in his 80s. He looks to his left and he gasps, right? And he looks at me, and then I get emotional because I see my dad getting emotional, so I react immediately. And this French lady comes over, okay, and grabs just probably about the same age as my dad. Okay, she grabs his hands and is saying in French, repeating the same thing in French over and over and over. So obviously we don't know what the hell she's talking about. All right, we couldn't understand her. So now an interpreter who works at the cemetery comes over, and she puts her arms around the French lady, and we look at her and we're like, we just don't know what she's saying. And she says she's saying to your father. She's like, "Is this your father?" I said, "Yes." She's saying to your father thank you and your country for the sacrifice that you all made for us. I'm here
Mhm.
today, and my children ended up being here today because of your sacrifice. And then my dad's like, he's like, but I wasn't a soldier. I was just a little boy. And the woman had to explain, she knows you're around her age. What she's just trying to say is thank you for the sacrifice that your country made for ours. And
Yeah.
it was just it fucking the tears came. My dad just started bawling. Again, when I see my dad cry, it's a wrap for me because my dad doesn't cry. So like to see him get emotional, I got very emotional. And being a combat veteran myself, I got very emotional just listening to her say that. And so these are the type of things that we experience, okay, over on this tour, this trip. Throughout the whole trip, we were having these type of experiences. So in these places where battles were fought, they're still teaching their kids, but we're not even teaching our kids this shit. And you ask an American kid, the average American kid doesn't even know where Normandy is.
Yeah.
The average American kid doesn't know where Delaware is.
That's true.
You know,
That's
ask them
true.
to find like, ask them to find a state on the map that isn't like New York, Florida, Texas, or California.
Yeah,
They won't know.
they can
Yeah.
tell you where the next party is at, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Dude, I told
go ahead.
I told one of my old friends. She just said, I was like, New Hampshire. My older sister is there, and she's like, New Hampshire. I've never heard of New Hampshire. I'm like, New
New
Hampshire,
hamster?
dude.
She said New hamster.
Like, no, I'm not talking about a damn hamster, dude. New
Who's there right
Hampshire,
now?
huh?
Who's there? Who's there right now?
Oh, my sister, my
Is she
older sister.
visiting or did she move there?
No, she moved there.
Oh wow.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
grew up there.
Oh, no way.
Yep. I grew
Yeah.
up.
She likes it.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's fucking cold. I hope she gets used to those winters, but it's good. It
She's
is
gotten
fucking
used to it.
beautiful.
How
It's
long
She
she
it's
been up
likes
there?
it.
gorgeous. What's
How
that?
It's
long she been up
crazy.
there? How long she been there?
Oof, probably like 10 years now.
Oh,
Oh wow.
she's acclimated to the weather for
Oh
Where
sure.
does
yeah,
she live?
she's.
What town?
Oh, I think it's. I forget. Hey, it's New Hampshire, so I don't know. I'm just
New
kidding.
New
hamster.
Hampshire. Crazy.
New hamster.
But see, there you go, right? Like New Hampster, like we're laughing at it, but there are people who probably pronounce it the same way as New Hampster,
Yeah,
and they
right? I
can't say
was like,
hamster.
dude, just say New Hampshire, like ham, They're like, hamster, though,
Yeah.
right? No, no, not a
Fucking New
hamster.
Hampster. That's that's fucking great stuff.
Crazy.
It's funny as shit. But yeah, man, our education is terrible. Um, between No Child Left Behind and Common Core, we have absolutely obliterated. But it was already happening before that, just to be honest. Okay, but that just completely obliterated freaking the education system here in the United States.
But
Yeah.
And
this brings up a good topic, Eric.
okay,
I did see that Linda McMahon, President Trump, are going to dismantle the Department of Education. They're
they're
going to
definitely
send
working on it.
the responsibility back to the states, and it's going to be something to watch, man. I really want to watch and see what happens. I want to see what states excel. I want to
Yeah,
see what states are really producing like some serious brains out there, um, not necessarily just the colleges, but like just the people
right.
as a whole of the state. I want to see like I want to see this flourish, and I hope it does. I think it will. I really do. But yeah, I think this is important. I think that was very important, and I think that was a very good move in the right direction.
Yeah, we've been calling
Sending the
for the
powers back
Department
to
of
the
Ed.
states.
Yeah. We've been calling on this show for a long time now to get rid of the Department of Education.
Yeah.
It is just a disaster. Uh, and you will see exactly, right? Like the Marxist states are going to continue to Marxist. They're going to continue doing their
Yeah,
bullshit, and their kids are going to continue to suffer. And then you're going to see, the free states are going to start making their own better decisions on what to teach
yeah,
their kids and stuff like that.
yeah,
And the education will get better in some places, and it'll either remain the same or get worse in other places,
That's one
and
thing I'm really happy about in this state, though. That's one thing he is doing really good with
mhm.
is the education. Speaking on, just doing more charter schools and giving more power to the parents because we were fighting hard down there, huh, Danny?
Yeah, it's
It's just
terrible.
freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Like your
Noemi
Yeah.
had
kids.
it worse. Noemi had it worse because she was over in San Diego, man, and
Mm.
San Diego it's such a beautiful city, but I just I do
Yeah.
remember seeing the decline like over the years, and it was just like, oh man, I don't know if like I still like going to San Diego, but
I haven't been in a long time.
it's not what it was. Yeah.
My cousin, I
Never.
got a cousin that lives in the Balboa Park area. I used to love going to Balboa Park because they had that every summer they had that Latin Fest where you could get all. I was able to get Puerto Rican food at the Latin Fest and everything, um, and it was just like it was fun to go to. Anyway, the park was always just filled with people partying and stuff like that. But San Diego used to be. We had Eric Gonzalez on, and he was explaining, and I knew this too because in the '90s it was actually a Republican city.
Yeah.
In early 2000s it was still a very Republican city,
I
and
was
then it
Yeah.
born
just
right there
it shit
by
the bed
Balboa.
after that. So it's a
Yeah.
disaster, man. It's really sad to see because San Diego is a very, very pretty city.
It's
um
beautiful.
it's
Is it
just like
still?
It's turning
it's
into LA, honestly.
mm,
I was gonna say they haven't destroyed it yet, like San Francisco or.
Oh, they're definitely destroying it with all the Democrats in
Yeah.
power.
mm,
Definitely
Yeah.
going that way.
I
Trash.
mean,
Like
if
downtown
you
is
take
bad.
pictures, if you look at pictures of San Diego and like certain areas, let's just say, you took a picture of, I don't know, whatever block, in the early or the late, let's say the late 90s, early 2000s, if you took pictures of just the city blocks and then you compare them to now, you're
Mhm.
just like, whoa, what's going on? But
Yeah.
it's leadership, man. It's all
Big
leadership.
time.
And
Well,
unfortunately,
California's doing it
people
down
will
there.
just believe, you know, the the people that try and tug at your heartstrings and, oh well, we need to help these people, and we need to, provide this and that, and we need government funding for this and blah blah blah. And it's just like, dude, we've been government funding like homelessness, for example, in the state of California, and it's done nothing. It's done
Mm.
nothing, bro.
It's worse and
If
no,
worse.
anything, it's
It's
gotten
it's
gotten
a
worse.
worse.
it's a
Which is why,
Yikes.
yeah, which is why, President Trump is like, wait a minute, you know what? I think we need to start investigating what the fuck all this money that we keep on funding California with. Where is this money going, and what is happening? Because obviously the situation isn't getting better in California. So we need to figure out what the fuck. And I really do hope that this investigation goes through, and I hope that they start like, opening a bunch of eyes. I mean, I think a lot of people in California already know the train to nowhere was a joke, but let's start finding out where that money actually went.
yeah,
Like, whose pockets did that money go into? You know what I mean?
correct.
We
No,
know.
correct. It's a the homeless situation in the nation as a whole. It's $1 billion industry, and it just goes into the pockets of these
Yeah.
NGOs and nonprofits and whatnot. They do absolutely nothing. The governments that actually run, they get the money. The local governments, they get the money and then send them out to these private organizations. They got people making six
Mhm.
figures and whatnot that don't do anything. There's no oversight, and everything
Right,
is just it's a disaster, man. It is a
right,
disaster. There's no reason why
Yeah.
we should
right.
have a
Remember that
homeless
girl
problem
that
like we
just
do.
interviewed? Remember the girl that just interviewed on the street in California? They asked like what was her title, and she said she works for like a
Yeah.
nonprofit
Yeah.
for resettle or help. They're like, what do you do for your job? It's like, well, my job, I oversee the finding of homes for the homeless. And they asked her how much she made. She made like $220,000 a year. I'm like, you
Insane.
fucking kidding me?
It's
Are you
insane.
Yeah,
serious? You're supposed to be in this position,
yeah,
this nonprofit position. You're making
Yeah.
double 100,000. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care
It's
if you're the
insane, man.
director. That's
It's a
insane.
it's a fucking racket, man. Um, what do you call it? Anyway, if you're just joining us, we have Danny Cruz with the Patriot Mother Vision. They're back to check in with us and say what's up to us on Cinco de Mayo. If you guys were watching from the get-go, Reddaywalker had his spread. He still has it in front of him. I've been drinking from a big gulp margarita. all show, so it's actually starting to fucking hit me a little bit, which is awesome. So I'm gonna sleep really good tonight. um, if you'd like to support the show, there is a Buy Me a Coffee link at the top of each chats for both Rumble and YouTube. And please don't forget to sign up for the Discord. It's completely free. We don't charge anything so that we can hang out with each other outside of these shows and continue these conversations that we're having with one another on the Discord. We also do a movie night. We had one this weekend that I couldn't attend because what do you call it? My family just surprised me this weekend, which was cool. I hadn't seen my brother in a while, so my brother came in with his girl and we just fucking partied all weekend, kind of. So I know Jonathan, he held it this weekend, and I believe I saw Rogue Nina. I checked in. Rogue Nina, thank you for showing up again. This is the second one she came to hang with us. I apologize for those of you that may have showed up, afterwards, but I couldn't hang with you guys on Saturday night, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so yeah, this fucking margarita is really feeling good right about now.
I thought you
Well,
couldn't
hey
drink. You
guys,
weren't allowed.
All
I'm
good.
just kidding.
hey guys, I want to say
Quick
thank
shot,
you
buddy.
for letting me be on, but I got to get going, man.
Sure, man.
Okay.
That's fine, bro.
Yeah, I got to get going, but thank you guys again for having me on, Eric and Scott. It's always a pleasure talking with you guys. I love having a conversation with you guys. You guys are great dudes, and it's fun. It's always fun talking with you guys, dude. So I really appreciate you guys bringing me on, but I really do got to get going though.
No, it's
No
okay, man.
problem.
You need to go
It's
to
all
the
good, man.
bathroom. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's okay,
You're
man.
allowed.
Yeah,
But
listen, thanks for coming to hang with us tonight, and it's always good to see you, brother. And please come back and hang with us some more, man.
I will, bro. I will. Once I
Nice
got
to
some free time, I
chat.
will.
All right, man. Thanks, brother.
All right,
God
man.
bless, man. All right, we're down to 3, and let's see. Hold on. Uh, Hang on one second. I didn't see this, Jillian. So if someone could bring me up to speed, she says, "What do you guys think is going on with James O'Keefe? Did you see how he said he's going dark?" I did not see that. It wouldn't surprise me if he does go dark. He does a lot of freaking shit and brings a lot of
Oh,
stuff
you
to
will.
light.
Yeah, but did you see what he released yesterday or today?
No, I didn't see. I was out of touch this weekend.
Come on, guys, you got to keep up, man.
I was out of touch
Scott,
this
you're
weekend.
the
What did he bring up, brother?
He has his latest drop was a member of BlackRock,
Okay.
and it was basically a high level member of BlackRock, basically admitting how they control politicians and how they control the government.
Hmm.
And
Di-
that was literally within 48 hours of that message he dropped. I think it was Friday night where he said, "I am not suicidal."
Hmm.
So he's very scared about what he found out about BlackRock.
Well, I suspect at some point he's probably going to come to light again because he's pretty fearless, man. Something must have really scared him if
Oh,
he's
he's not
going dark.
stopping. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
not stopping. But I mean, I think that's what it was when she said that he was acting all like squirrely.
Wow.
That's what it was.
Wow. Yeah, I totally, completely missed
Yep.
that, man.
Came out.
Yeah.
Got just you're
Yeah.
not allowed to go to the bathroom, man. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom. You're not allowed to take a nap. You
I
can't. I
know.
mean, if you go to work, if you turn your phone off for like half an hour, you're gonna miss it.
Oh man, I start my new job next freaking Monday, and I got to do training in the office for like the first month, which sucks. Before I start working from home, so I'm gonna kind of be in the
Oh
dark a
no.
little bit working from the office, uh, which sucks. I'm gonna have to set my shit up on the weekends for the shows and have
Uh
everything
huh.
ready so that when I come home, I can just post it
Maybe
and stuff. But
it's
yeah,
tough.
man. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, nah, the new job requires me to come into the office for like the first month or two. Just training, learning their software system, which I'll probably pick it up in the first month. And then they essentially said that if you pick it up, the faster you pick it up, the quicker we'll release you to go work from home.
Nice.
So I was like, all right. So, it's just good to honestly to be able to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fucking unemployed these last 2 months just sucked. I was starting to hit crunch time financially. I was like, yeah, I'll probably make it through this month and next month, but after that, if I stay unemployed, it's gonna get very painful.
Yeah.
I hear you.
So,
It was
but
tough.
I hope James O'Keefe is okay, guys. I hope that
I think it's
you know, I hope nothing bad happens to him. We know he's not like, he's not the type of person that would off himself. Okay. He
No,
just,
he was saying that, yeah, because I think he's legit scared.
yeah.
Yeah. I
But
had some video.
he's done so many other exposés recently that, like, again, I want to start seeing people in the government saying dumb shit that they're not doing this and this is how we get around that, and still nobody's getting hemmed up, and that fucking bugs me.
Yeah, but I think BlackRock is different because I think literally BlackRock is at the top of the pile.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
And I mean, I think there's been speculation about all that stuff for
Yeah.
years, and I
Yeah.
mean, what's his name? What the hell's the guy's name? What the hell's the guy that does the crazy? He's been talking. Everything he's been talked about a conspiracy theorist has come true basically. Shit, I can't think of his fucking name.
can't
The
think
guy
of
that
who
just
it
got
is.
sued. The guy that got
Alex
sued
Jones?
for Alex Jones. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Alex Jones has been talking about them for decades.
Yeah, he's been on that. He has been. That's true. He's been on point with them for a very long time, talking about them. And it doesn't surprise me with BlackRock. And what's the other one? Vanguard, and there's another one too.
State Street.
State Street. Yeah.
Those are the three biggies.
Yeah. Those three got. They're part of the reason the real estate industry sucks right now is BlackRock, and all three of them fucking buying up homes and all that other stuff and everything for rentals and shit like that, taking them off the market. They fucked a lot of things up. I like to see them get upended too.
No.
They got their hands everywhere. Speaking of hands everywhere, did you guys see that the jury selection started for fucking Diddy?
No.
P Diddle? Yeah, they started the jury selection today for P Diddle.
I saw that today.
I want to start seeing again. That's another thing. That's a whole other talk show with that shit that nobody's been hemmed up for. Fucking, we haven't seen anything with Epstein. We haven't seen anything with fucking Diddy. None of that shit has come to light, and it's very, very frustrating because we voted for that to come to light. People want to see it, and I understand people being upset about it. I completely get it.
Did you hear what they said about Epstein today?
No. What did they?
Or bad. See, man, I gotta keep up. Bad news.
What's the bad news on it?
They said, I believe it actually came from. I think it came from Trump.
Mm-hmm.
There is no timetable on the Epstein releases.
Yeah.
Which is
They're protecting somebody.
That's something to criticize him about.
Yeah, if he's
absolutely.
If he's not doing what he said he was, he told us that we were going to get that release and it hasn't happened. And, just because we voted for him doesn't mean we can't sit back and fucking, rip him apart when he doesn't do something correct or he gives us the wrong information about something. That's, that's the whole nature of the beast with politics.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't just sit back and not speak your mind just because you voted for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jillian. I don't think we're going to see it.
I don't think so.
I don't think we're going to see it. And it's sad.
I don't think so. We're going to have it'll be such an abridged list.
Yeah, I agree. And like most of us, we don't care who's on it, right? Like, it doesn't matter if it's people we fucking like. If we find out that they're on that list, throw them in a wood chipper too. I honestly could care less. It doesn't make a difference as to R, D, I, whatever you want to put in front of their fucking political affiliation. I could give a rat's ass. I just want to see, let's just get some justice for people. That's what most people want to see. That.
Yeah, people want to see whoever was on the list just arrested.
Yeah, it's
with
just
the talking.
it's true. We want to start seeing heads roll. Yeah. It's important that we start seeing heads roll. Getting the low hanging fruit that we've been seeing them get. Yeah, that's great and all, but let's start ripping the deep state up a little bit.
It needs to be politicians. It has to be.
Yeah.
Like when they said that they're above going after actual mayors or whatever or governors. Yeah. Do it. I want to see a governor perp walk out of their governor mansion.
Yeah, so do I.
I want to see the fucking media just go crazy. I want to see people like fucking turning cars over because they're so fucking mad. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want them to just lose their shit. but do it.
Yeah, again, I don't care who's on it. I don't care what their party affiliation is.
Mhm.
I vote Republican because, the Republican Party is closest to what I believe in. But I know
Yeah,
that
not
they're
because
full
they're
of shit too.
perfect.
Yeah, not because they're perfect. I know that they're full of shit too. Uh, and stuff. Many of them are full of shit. We see it all the time, right? You know, uh,
Mhm.
the people have been fucking sucking Rand Paul's dick for a long time now, and he fucked us over last week. Actually, he tried to fuck us over last week,
Did
and it
he?
didn't
Yeah, he
fucking.
tried to. He
Yeah,
tried to, and he lost. You know who actually didn't even vote in that vote?
I think
It was
Mitch. I think
very
I think
surprising.
Mitch. I think Foreskin Neck
Yep.
didn't vote in that, right?
How did Mitch miss that vote?
Bro, Mitch is
That's
missing
weird.
his.
That was by design.
Mitch is fucking. His brain is on a on a permanent reset. He's gonna miss everything right now.
I mean, that's crazy though. Because you knew that he was probably going to vote against it. So
Yeah,
how did he miss it?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
well, yeah. Vote. Excuse me. But he was going to vote against. He was going to vote
Oh yeah.
against it or vote
He
for it.
he probably would have voted. He probably would have.
Sorry, vote in favor of. He was going to vote in favor of it, which meant if they literally had his vote, they would
Yes.
have passed it because like they had to call Vance in to break the
Yeah,
tie.
it was 49-49. So it was him. Who else? There was like a couple of Republicans that didn't vote on it.
Mhm.
And stuff, and it was just
Very weird.
mainly to dodge their constituents is what it really was all about.
Probably.
you know, uh but again, it's my thing with fucking Rand Paul and everybody who's been sucking his cock for a while. Is like, where the fuck was he with? He's worried about tariffs. With issues with China. Where the fuck was he when the Biden administration fucking unloaded a whole bunch of more tariffs on EVs and stuff like that from China and
Yeah.
material and whatnot? I didn't hear you bitching about then, but of course, everybody in Congress is all in bed with China right now anyway.
Yeah.
They're all
You
making money
notice
off
it's
of
all.
fucking China.
You know what the bigger thing is? It's all about foreign policy. That's where the fucking money comes from. That's
Yeah,
where the fucking favors come from. They don't gain anything from having a strong domestic policy, and that's probably the biggest problem with our federal government
yeah.
is that there's no incentive for them. There's not enough kickback to them to look out for the American people. There's bigger incentive to secure these like foreign interests.
It's why they all come.
That's why they're owned.
Yeah, it's why they all come out fucking millionaires and everything, multi-millionaires,
Hmm.
not just millionaires.
Yeah.
Worth fucking several hundred million at the time that they're done after spending 30, 40 plus years in government and have never held an actual job. Their whole job has been freaking, fucking the American people over in government. That's
Yep.
what it's all about. But again, a
Foreign
measure of
governments
that
and
a measure of that, and we've said it, a measure of that falls on us too, right? Like we don't hold our politicians fucking responsible enough in this country, right? Like, so if we had term limits, if we forced them, if we fucking voted people out, for instance, the easiest people to do are the people in Congress, right? Because they every 2 years they have an election. It's harder with a senator because they get 6 years and stuff like that. Okay. And you have to wait 6 years before you can make a change. But it's even easier for us to do it with the House of Representatives. If you get people with in the House of Representatives, you can fucking every 2 years you can put somebody new in. Oh, you fucked up. You didn't do what we wanted you to do for your constituents here. Why we voted you in? Because you talked a big game. You're gone too. And we
yep.
don't do that enough. And
We
so
should
these
put them
people
on
then,
blast.
yeah, but I mean, we're putting them on blast now, but like again, it's still up to us, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know our group of people will fucking we will hold politicians and representatives accountable because that's what we're about, right? But it's the average voter doesn't do it, right? Because they get so in tune with these people. Okay, they get, well, I love this person's personality. The days of voting for people's personalities have been over for a very long time. If you're not voting on fucking the proper policy, you're fucked. It's why so many good candidates end up getting torched. We get torched by their own party. We're fucking, the Republican Party's infamous for that.
Hmm.
Fucking over good candidates, okay, that would try to do things right. But again, we just have to hold these people. Gotta start holding people accountable for shit. If we don't do it, what different? We
Things
could talk to her blue in the face, but if we don't do shit about it, then what difference does it make?
Things were a lot better when we used to tar and feather people publicly.
I know. No, it's a damn
Yes,
shame,
yes,
really.
I am publicly advocating for that. We should tar and feather people publicly.
Um,
That
yeah,
would that would that would that would change the status quo in the government.
with these people, just
people.
holding these people accountable, man, for their shit, right? Like actually holding them accountable, not even just with voting. If they're doing some criminal shit, not letting them get away with the criminal shit, um, is very, very important. Again, I don't care what their political affiliation is. I don't care if they have an R in front of their fucking name. If they're corrupt, they're corrupt. Ham them up, send them away. You know, if they're
Mhm.
doing things, white collar crimes, hem them up. If they're fucking pedophiles, hem them up. Throw them in a wood chipper afterwards. I could care less. Doesn't party affiliation means nothing to me when it comes to that shit. How can we talk about let's clean this up, but then we don't hold our own people accountable? And that's my big issue with the voting bloc, with voters in the United States refuse to. Many of these people, a guy like Mitch McConnell is like a grand sausage maker. He has brought so much money into Kentucky, okay, for different fucking pet projects and all this other shit on top of making the millions of dollars he's made and helping the Chinese through his Chinese wife and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They've made a killing and stuff, but like the average person in Kentucky doesn't see what Mitch McConnell is. We see it because we're on the outside looking in, constantly fucking. We're constantly trying to look through the magnifying lens for all politicians, regardless of their party affiliation, right? And we're willing to hold him to task, regardless of the fact there's an R in front of his name.
Yep, exactly. That's what I
So
see here. Like, what's going on? Like, I see their faults, like where they're not doing the right thing. But
yeah, and it's even more important on the local level to hold them accountable because they make it even worse, right?
Mhm.
Like local fucking politicians make it even worse for their constituents. Um, you know, this we're seeing how slow it is to get shit done in Washington D.C., right, and get the correct things done. All right, but on the state and local levels, they run roughshod over their citizens. It's terrible,
Mhm.
but that falls to us to fucking make those changes and whatnot. So you know, oh fam, I am feeling it. I'm gonna probably have to call it a night here soon.
no way.
That's okay, man.
The fucking the tequila caught up to me.
It'll kill
Mhm.
you.
I'm gonna sleep
Man,
good tonight. This is my last week of not having to worry about getting up for work and driving somewhere, so I'm gonna fucking enjoy this last week. Uh, but
and
Noemi,
congratulations on your job.
thanks you. I needed it. It was starting to get painful financially. Fortunately, I had savings and whatnot, and you know,
Mhm.
I'm not a fucking not I'm not a spendthrift and whatnot, so like I had money that held me off, so that's like fortunate. I was fortunate with that, but a lot of
Yeah.
people don't, like Danny was saying early on in the show, like there are a lot of people who lost their
Mhm.
job and they were living paycheck to paycheck, so that shit
Yeah.
hurts immediately.
Yeah.
So being a disabled vet, I had some income coming in,
Mm.
so I was able to get my main bills were taken care of every month, so that was a good thing. But what do you got, Normie? Let everybody know where you're at. By the way, everybody's links are in the description, so Normie's links are in there too.
Yeah, I'm here in Henderson. I got here and I started helping with what I could. I think there's some more elections coming up that I'm going to help with because
Oh, nice.
I don't I've seen so much corruption. So of course I'm going to try to do something about it.
Right,
So I'll be helping candidates out with what I can.
right. Well,
Be
that's good
really
that you're
busy.
going to continue that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you have
never
to
ending,
just
right?
fight where you're at. Huh?
Yeah,
You said it's never ending, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's so corrupt. Like, I didn't know this about Vegas, but the cones that they have here, you literally pay for the cones that are out every day.
wow.
And
Mhm.
there's a lot of accidents here too. And like our assembly is not focused on what we're supposed to focus on, and it's painful. But what can you do but to do something about it?
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad. Yeah, you got to definitely come back and let us know how that's going once the that campaign season starts up again and whatnot. Let us know who you're helping run and whatnot, because that's how we started this show when we brought you on, was you were bringing us up to speed on the shit that was going on in Nevada and everything. So we definitely like to hear you come back and let us know what's up with that. What do you got, Red Day?
What do I have? You know what? I can tell you this. It's it's going to be a very busy week.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's Monday. I can tell you this. I'm making these lists every week, and I'm keeping track of shit.
Yeah.
Sunday and Monday were very busy. I got a lot. This week is going to blow last week out.
Nice. Yeah, if you
I'm
guys aren't
telling you, there's a
following
lot of
Red
shit
Day,
happening.
he puts it up on it. He actually puts it up on his Rumble first before Instagram. So
Hmm.
make sure you're following him on Rumble, Patriot
Yeah,
Daywalker. His link is in the description so that you guys can, get to his Rumble and whatnot. But it's in both descriptions on YouTube and Rumble. So like you'll be able to find him. But every Sunday he
good
puts out a
stuff.
really, really pretty deep list on the shit that's been going on and stuff that we missed and everything. It's very good to follow.
Yeah, but yeah. Other than that, what did I hit today? I hit 132,000
Yeah, you hit
on Instagram.
132,000. Yeah,
132 fucking thousand
Oh,
followers.
nice. That's good shit,
Jesus,
man. Yeah,
some good shit.
I'm still fucking struggling at almost 22,000. I've been stuck.
It's
It's it's
tough.
a it's a grind, man. Well,
Mhm.
IG does like funny things, right? Like they've been
Oh yeah.
suppressing me hard, like really really hard since January.
Hmm.
It's amazing because I'll view the insights and I'll see that like I had fucking 1,000 people see a post, right? But
Yep.
I have 10 fucking likes on it. That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? So you know that they're suppressing the like button. Like you ever try to like somebody's shit and
Something
it won't let
yeah,
you
and
like
then
it. It
it,
won't let you like it and stuff like
all
that.
the time.
So you
All
know
the
that
time.
that's what they're doing. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, this is
It won't
crazy.
even it won't even let me like comments on my own posts sometimes. Like I'll
Yeah.
go and I'll just try to like something that Noemi said something on, and it won't even let me like it.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you
yeah,
That's
kidding
like
me?
crazy.
I'm just kidding.
No,
No,
that's
I
that's
My
that's
story, and I'm
understand.
sticking to it.
no, that's fucking
Freaking,
that's good shit, man. You hit 132,000, man. That's
that's so
fucking
cool.
great stuff. And you know what we're gonna do for you, Scott? Because it's Cinco de Mayo
Mm.
and you hit
Oh God, what are you gonna
132,000.
do?
We are
Oh
going to
God,
give you. No, man. We're gonna give you some fireworks,
Da-da-da-da-da.
man.
some balloons.
That is for Red Day Walker hitting 132,000 fucking fans, viewers, followers. I'm sorry, on Instagram. I can't even speak. We'll give him some balloons too.
Nice. Woo!
Oh shit! And while we're at it, to fucking end it all, you get the fucking stars, man. Uh,
Feel like I'm in a PowerPoint presentation here.
You are, Scott.
that's funny, man. But all right, I will take us out. Let me say fucking
All
thank you
right.
to the people who are our followers today, who are hanging and in the chat with us. I'll take us out, fam.
Alrighty.
Well, America, that's another episode of Break the Machine podcast, our Cinco de Mayo episode. We were fortunate to have Danny Cruz come hang with us and Patriot Mother Vision, Normie Abrego. Make sure you're following them. Their links are in the descriptions, so you can be able to find them and whatnot. Before we get going, let me say what's up to and thank you to Rogue Nina, the Bass Blondie for hanging with us. Chelsea hung with us. Funny Girl 6 came and jumped in and said what's up to us. Really quick, Jillian, Conserve Reality, what's up? Thanks for coming in and hanging with us. Jillian 2205 hanging with us as well. Um, you know, I did say Chelsea Boyle. I hope I said that. And yes. All right. Did I miss anybody, Jonathan? I think I got everybody. Listen, fam, we've been doing really good on Rumble with the amount of viewers. So like if you're in the Rumble chat, say what's up to us. We don't want to know who you are. We want to say hi. um, and get to know you guys and continue to become part of this demolition crew. And we'll continue to break this machine, right? So, without further ado, I am the Big Red One Guy, reminding you that together and only together can we break the machine. God bless you all. God bless America. Enjoy the rest of your Cinco de Mayo, fam. Have a good night.